Hey guys, thank you for tuning in to Hate It or Love It. This is our number one episode, I am, number one, numero uno, Juan.
You are number one.
Yeah, number one. So I'm just like, and I am your host, Vanessa, aka Silly V. You might have seen me on Say Less podcast, and this is my co-host,
Clarissa Bell. You can find me on YouTube under I Am Clarissa Bell or TikTok I Am Clarissa Bell.
So today we're going to talk about, the youth and society and where it's going. We definitely have some really exciting clips that we're going to show you.
Yeah, so we're going to roll into the first clip, and we're just going to talk about it. So roll clip 1.
Number 3, this is teaching this little girl right now that she can use her body to make money and garner attention from these older men. That is the only lesson she is learning right now.
I'm just saying that if you watch that video and you have a problem, perhaps you should get a therapist. A festival in broad daylight where first responders are in attendance. How's this different from the Army pull-up bar?
We need the therapist. Can somebody please tell her how to use the pull-up bar? It's not like this, mama.
No,
it is not like this. Like, you definitely have not been to the gym, or she has. She's probably one of those Planet Fitness videos. Like,
No, there's no video that's out there like that.
No, there's no
But the
video.
sad thing is that, like, we're not allowed to talk about it. You have to say minor attracted persons to compensate, or really just to be gentle with people that have attractions to children. So not only are we making it lenient and acceptable for that type of behavior, we're pushing kids into an arena that they have no business in. It has nothing to do with being able to love whoever you want to love. As an adult, you can love whoever you want to love, as many of them as you may want to love. But for children, like, that's not the place for kids. And it's for any adult in their right mind to think that this is acceptable. To bring your child, to like drag your kids to
pole
drag,
dance.
you know what I mean? Like that makes absolutely no sense. To me, it's like, where is the protection for these children? Where's the protection?
The lady's talking about the first responders were there. So, I mean, like, first responders are not protecting child's emotional
because
damage.
She didn't think there was anything wrong with the behavior. She's saying that if my man fell off the pole, like, let's say he made it to the top and he fell and he didn't know how to do a perfect split, first responders would have been there to take care of that. But that's just her line of thinking. Like, you don't see nothing wrong with this picture. You got your baby on a pole.
Yeah.
And I think that most people aren't with it, but they're not aware of it. You know what I mean? Like, it may be something that you catch on TikTok or YouTube or whatever Facebook platform, and you see it and you're like, yo, that's crazy. But you don't understand that that is what's creeping in.
Yeah.
And it's coming at full force. And if we don't wake up and stand up, like, you're going to find your kids in it and you're going to wonder, how did it get this far? Like, I'm talking to parents.
Right.
And to hear some of these stories, they're far and in between, but they're still happening.
It's just, at, like, the little girl, she was just dancing.
Yeah, like, she's just being a little kid.
And that's the thing. These kids don't see anything wrong because they're like, well, mom was allowing me, or dad, or whoever brought them there. They're allowing me to do this. This is fun. The thing with the little girl that really upset me is, I know this is going to sound wrong, right? But that she black. What black parent allowed their child to dance in a room full of men while the men are giving her money? Like, that type of stuff makes me feel like people are really selling their kids, because it just doesn't even seem realistic. I mean, maybe it is, but...
Well, it happened. It's not right, but it happened.
But I think they're getting money. I think they're getting paid.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Who do you think that money went to? The little girl got the praise and the affirmation, and the mother got the paycheck.
It is sad because, we as adults know it's wrong, and the child's just having a good time.
We should know it's wrong. You know what I mean?
If you don't know it's wrong, you need a therapist.
Yeah, but, she really does. She firmly believes that there's absolutely nothing wrong with this behavior. And there's no protection for children. It's absolutely disgusting. Yeah.
We got that second clip, though.
Yeah, let's roll into the second one.
Sports. What do you play?
I did play volleyball, soccer, and I want to play basketball.
To Kieran, who's transgender, it's not about racking up victories.
I don't want to win any trophies for it, though. I feel like that's the most unfair way to compete, because it's not about winning.
What's it about?
Having fun with your friends for it, though. I feel like that's the most unfair way to compete, because it's not about winning.
So many kids that don't even have the opportunity
Does your mom say you have to be LGBT? No, I can choose what I want to be, but
Go ahead, Lex. Go ahead. Keep talking. Say what you're saying.
my mom doesn't matter if I am gay or lesbian or any of that. She doesn't care. All she cares about is that I'm a part of it. And if I'm not a part of it, she'll try to convince me to join it. Cause
What are you saying right now?
Facts.
That I would convince you to join what?
The LGBTQIA plus.
Now go ahead.
Listen, I got two things. Okay, Okay, obviously the first one, coaching.
Mm-hmm.
Coaching. Yeah. Is that? Did I say it right, mommy?
Yeah. Like you could even see her looking back, like basketball, right?
Right. They must have went over that mad times. Say basketball.
And she couldn't help herself neither. She's so proud of the abuse that she's doing on her kid that she could not resist.
Yeah.
The mouthing the script with her daughter.
Well, you know what? It reminds
that
me
child
of
needs help.
when you have kids that are in a play.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And
Oh,
you're
the
out in the
mom?
crowd. You're like,
Yeah, right? Daughter nailed it. She nailed it.
so the two things I wanted to say, right, was the coaching, but I really just want to say this. I know it's a little bit off, right? But sports are about winning.
They are.
You know what I mean? Like, nobody watches the NFL and says, you know what? They all look like they had a good time, though.
No.
You're not going to get, what they call it, NBA or MLB or whatever sports word for trophies are, Heisman stuff. You don't get it for having fun. You get it for being the best. And when you lose, it's not the end of the world. You figure out what you did wrong, or maybe, hey, that's not the sport for you.
But you know,
I wanted to say that.
No, that's true. But I think that it's true because, like, even when you were saying, as a matter of fact, I'll throw up this clip with Milli Vanilli. The requirement or the standards that we used to have, we don't have anymore. Like, what was that? The ice skater, that one chick that I don't know.
The one that broke the other girl's legs.
Yo, you know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't about having fun. It was about winning. It was even to the point where homegirl plotted to take out old girl's legs. You know what I mean?
Like, she needed a therapist.
Totally. But the competitiveness, we are taking that away from our kids and saying all of them get a trophy. For what?
Well, the thing is, there were toxic parents, and there still are. Whether you like it or not, there's toxic parents. Because I've gone to games where I'm like, this guy better stop yelling at his son like that. You know what I mean? But there is something you feel when you work hard with your team and you guys win.
Absolutely.
That is something special.
And it's special to them, too, because they grinded at it and they accomplished something. So for them to put like a rainbow banner around it and say, because it's this, it must be accepted. And it's all about just having fun. It's just not reality. So going back to the first clip, you know, with the mother and the two little boys, like you could even see from the eldest one, the older one was looking at his brother like, you better not say that.
Because he already knew.
He already knew what it
Yeah.
was. You know, and the mother, like the way that she adjusted herself in that chair, talking about, nah, go on, say it. What you gonna say? Facts.
My mom doesn't care if I'm a part of the LGBTQAY plus community as long as I'm part of it.
Wait a minute, what are you talking about?
Facts.
Right? And it's sad that, like, you have parents that are actually doing this to their children. It's no longer beware of the stranger and the candies that they want to give you. This is coming from within the home, and this is what it's always been about. When you numb an older generation, you completely take out the defense for the children. There's nothing to stand there to protect them. I've already warped you in the mind. I don't have to fight to get to your kids. I'll make you do it.
You know what I was thinking too? How long have we had parents like this in society? You know, we just never knew. Now it's like, it's very obvious, because if you got your kids doing these things, you don't really care about their emotional development.
Well, I think that you kind of, like, for me, I grew up, I know my mom's not going to be happy. I hope she don't watch this. But I grew up with not really having the parental supervision. You know, we were able to do whatever we wanted to. And it started out like that. So then you have kids having kids that are still trying to seek out life for themselves. And it just got easier and easier to branch off. And it just, there's no morality. There's no logic way of thinking. There's no protection for the kids because everybody's out just trying to do themselves. And it's just, it's dangerous. It's corroding from the inside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know, it's not all bad news. We actually have some schools doing a positive thing, you know, like getting these extra flags out, the LG, the rainbow flag. And no, I'm not good at the letters, and I always mess it up, and I don't want to offend anyone. But then again, we're saying we're happy about these flags being taken down.
You want to roll into the next clip?
Yeah.
Next clip.
Yeah, they were merry. And here at Kettle Moraine High School, you can see that in the cafeteria, there's an American flag hanging. But if a teacher wants to hang up a pride flag, that's no longer allowed, and there are strong opinions on both sides. In a place that's normally known for being quiet.
I'm not controversial. I am not political. I am a person.
Students and parents loudly shared their opinions with the Kettle Moraine School Board.
I don't see a good reason for this policy.
Almost every inch of the library was filled Tuesday evening because at last month's board meeting, the school board voted to ban teachers from having pride flags in classrooms or listing pronouns in email signatures, saying it was too political.
The fact is that the majority of students don't want or need this, so catering to the minority only encourages the envelope to be pushed further.
Several people spoke in support of the policy, but the majority of public comment was strongly against it.
Pride flags are not me taking a political stance. They are a statement saying I accept myself and others.
Public comment was capped after an hour despite a call from the crowd to extend it.
No, we don't get into dialogue.
It's unclear how many people plan to speak either for or against, and in the end, the board voted unanimously to keep the policy.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay?
Now tonight, there was no discussion between board members about this policy before they voted on it. At last month's meeting, they did talk about it, saying things like Black Lives Matter or Blue Lives Matter signs would also be considered too political.
Girl, when she was talking about, being able to express herself, it's so sad that flag is an expression of who she is.
It's not an expression, it's an extension
of who she is, right? Because the fact of the matter is, we do live in America. I don't understand, where is the disconnect?
But that didn't even come from the student. That came from the reporter. Like, what's the difference between having a pride flag and the American flag? It's like, well, one deals with sexuality and the other one represents our country.
Yeah, like, you're
There's
gay,
total
you
difference.
live here.
You know what I mean?
It's not like you all of a sudden don't live here because you're gay.
Yeah.
So I don't even understand why we have to replace the American flag. On top of that, every other country that has gay people uses that flag. Mm-hmm. So it's like, what? I think schools too is not the place for it.
Yeah, and I agree with, they're saying that it's not just about pride. They want to go after BLM, and they also want to go with like any back the blue, like anything that's politically driven, whether it be left or right, has to be removed. And I totally agree, because it's not about indoctrinating children to feel emotionally with all these hot button topics, but it's to educate them. If it's not dealing with reading, writing, and arithmetic, I don't think it should be in the classroom.
Not only that, go ahead.
No, but you're there to teach them.
Not only that, I feel like when we're so focused on all these hot topics as children, I don't think it gives them time to really learn how to interact with people and learn people and really get to know people for who they are, versus you like that flag, I like that flag, so now we're friends. But you may not actually get along. You may not be good for each other in the long run. And with having all those things, it's like they don't get to know each other. It's like, oh, we're part of this group. Me too. Yeah, me too. Oh, your mom. Oh, that guy, he likes America. Fuck him. You know what I mean?
But it's very strategic.
It is.
If I can attach who you are to an object, anytime that object gets attacked, you automatically feel it. You think it's directed towards you when it isn't. And that's what they've done to these kids. All of it has everything to do with wrapping them up in their emotions. And because no one's teaching them how to govern and filter through these emotions, they're all over the place. That's why they need safe spaces, because they don't know how to process. All they see is they're attacking this or they're attacking me. It must be a hate crime. It must be hate speech. It's hate. It's hate. It has nothing to do with that. I can't even talk to you rationally because you've so embedded yourself in an object that you don't even separate yourself from it for me to actually engage you in a logical conversation, which is extremely dangerous.
Now think about it too. Like back in the day, the kids that were all in like adult stuff, that's what we used to call it, as like in our time. Yeah, in our time we used to call it adult stuff. Like yeah, they be doing adult stuff. So we're talking about having sex and all that, right? But those were the kids that didn't pay attention in school because they were too busy trying to be papi chulos and stuff, you know what I mean? Versus actually learning. So think about this. If we have a whole school of kids who all they're worried about is sexual things, what are they really learning?
What state is Utah in?
Michigan?
Yes. You know what state Utah is in?
Utah, be honest with you, I never heard of that place ever in my life.
How many dimes make up $1?
How many dimes?
Yeah.
Oh my god, we're doing math now? Why are you doing all the questions I can't answer?
Take a guess. You know this.
Dimes. Wait, I'm trying to remember what dimes are. Wait, $1?
Yeah.
Next question.
How many Kardashian sisters can you name?
Kendall Jenner, Kylie Jenner, Kim Kardashian, Khloe Kardashian, Kourtney Kardashian. Is that all? That's all.
Yeah, that's all of them for sure.
Smart.
Yeah, dude, you're a genius.
So when the government comes out and says, hey, we want all of you to do this, they're just going to be like, well, you know what? They love us. They care about us because they got our flag.
Well, that's why they champion on, like, when they go for re-election or anything.
Mm-hmm.
They always champion for these political issues because they know that that's the only thing that you know. You don't really know what's happening in the world.
Nothing.
Which will bring me into this conversation that I had with my sister where she was like, yo, like, piss me off. I was on the phone with the doctor's office and they gonna tell me to put my daughter on the phone so that she can give them permission to give her permission to get information from her doctor. If you don't know that this is happening to you, it's like, I don't know, like, let the kids be kids, but it's not about that. The agenda and what is taking place is so much greater than that. People don't know that a lot of the policies that they want to push are protecting this agenda.
Mm-hmm.
And it has nothing to do, it's really stripping away your rights. So you're going to find yourself in an office and your child is going to have more say in a situation than you. You know, and it's dangerous with a lot of the stuff that they want to push on kids. It's absolutely dangerous. There was a father in Canada that was actually thrown in jail because he went to seek help for his daughter, and they were like, no, she's not sick. She just needs to transition. He was like, no, that's not what I came here for.
She got a cold.
No, I'm not putting her on anything. And they was like, you got 2 weeks to answer to this or you're going to jail. They put him in jail.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
But that's what we're coming to, and a lot of people got their heads in the sand. And they're just like, well, it ain't my business. Well, I used to feel the same way, too. Like with the whole hearing stories of what took place during COVID where people were losing loved ones and couldn't be next to them.
That was sad.
I heard about that. Yeah. But I didn't understand the severity of it until one of my loved ones was in the hospital. They were down to where they were like, listen, we're going to ship them out so that they can just die peacefully. But we'll give you 30 minutes before they die for you to come in and say your last words. That's when it hit home for me. And I'm just like, this is ridiculous. You're telling me that this person is going through a very traumatic time and you have alienated them.
You know, there's studies on what other people do to you, like your mom. Like for me, I can say when my son was little and he would get sick, if I was to leave him with the babysitter, it'd take him longer to get better. But if I was there and I laid next to him, he wouldn't be sick for that long. Literally, it was like 2 or 3 days. After that, I called off every time.
Yeah, they've done studies of like kids that deal, or infants, when there's no interaction or connection.
Yeah.
They go sick.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's so many studies that show that we need human contact. We need connection. And all they're doing is finding more and more ways to isolate us.
Yeah.
And then they're just picking us apart one by one. It's absolutely sad. If you don't see it, you know, and you can't come to a place where it's like, I don't care because it's not my business. It's not happening in my house. Yeah. It doesn't affect me in any way. So you go along with stuff until it finally slaps you in the face. And at that point, you have absolutely no power.
Yeah. And for me, honestly, I feel driven to talk about this more and more every day. I see little kids and it's just like,
it's sad.
Yeah, because you don't even know what life's about, and you're going to go ahead and make life-altering decisions.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And think about everybody in this room. You was 13-year-old, and now you know, a little bit older, right? But you don't think the same you did when you were 13. Mm-hmm. And as parents, we're supposed to guide them the right way. And then once they're 18, they could do what they want, but you're supposed to guide them. But to say that my son, because, you know, I confronted someone about what they're doing for their kids. And I said, you know, that's not a good idea. I was like, well, that's what makes them happy. And I'm just like, you know, kids don't like eating vegetables. They don't like getting shots. They don't like the doctors. They don't like a lot of stuff. So what are you going to do? Just, I mean, it's the same way.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm glad that I wasn't born in this time.
Me too.
You know, because as you can see, like, I've always been a tomboy. Like, I've always been. You know, I love playing sports. I played more with boys than I did girls. I didn't relate to girls. And I'm glad that I didn't have anybody in my face talking about, you know what, you like doing push-ups.
Right.
You must be a boy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I never had to ever be confronted with that. I end up growing until, like, and I really didn't even understand attraction because I had somebody question me as a 7-year-old girl, like, do you like girls or boys? And as a child, yeah. I was
that's right.
Yeah, I like both. Like, I don't even know what you're
I
asking
like both
me
of
right
them.
now. Yeah, like, they're both.
Oh, you're bisexual.
You like both of them? I'm like, yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes, like, she likes to be the yellow ranger, I'll be the pink ranger. Like, I don't really know what we're talking about here. I didn't understand it until I met my ex-husband. When I saw him, I knew I wanted that.
Right.
Every part of me was like, oh, we want
But it wasn't
that.
the same, like,
but
when
it
you were
wasn't
7.
the same, you know what I'm saying? And I still didn't even understand sexuality, really, until, you know, I got into my 30s.
Yeah.
Like, once I got into my 30s, I was realizing that, like, you know, people think that, oh, because I'm sexually attracted to a certain thing, that means I'm that. But, I mean, if we're really being honest, if you go through your search history on you know, Pornhub or whatever, you started out with fellatio and ended up in a dark hole somewhere. I mean, you just you leave the website like, damn, what was that? Like,
I have slammed the computer down. Like, oh my god, what was that?
Did we really just do this right now to that? Like, but I'm just saying, like, you can't sit there and make it seem that just because you're sexually
I ain't gonna lie.
charged
I
by
watched the
something-
Twilight.
Don't.
Okay,
I don't
sorry.
want to hear it.
It was the most corniest thing ever. It was Twilight, but just, you know.
No. But what
it was so bad.
But what I'm saying is that you can't say that just because something arouses you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've had something brush up against me the wrong way, and I'd be like, "Oh, you trying to get down?" You know, like, and it would be
your
like,
own pants
like,
sometimes. Like, oh, what?
The water
jeans.
in the shower, baby.
You know what? I think I like
Like,
jeans.
They're like, seriously, like, but
Yeah.
that doesn't mean that just because I feel that makes me that thing.
Right.
So even with that, it's like to understand what sexuality is. It is an animal instinct. That's
It
why
is.
nobody has to teach you how to do it.
Right.
You get in the room, you ain't never done it ever in your life.
You gonna figure it
You
out.
lick me the wrong way and it's game on. Who taught you that?
Nobody.
You never had to see it. It's animal instinct. So to take that and make that somebody's identity, it's a fallacy. It's wrong, and it's manipulative. And we're doing this to children.
Not only that, you're more than just your sexuality.
Yeah.
And I think with making it all about sexuality, you're actually suppressing the greatness that you are. It's already stressful. So imagine what they're going through by having these added things, because they're going through their regular, you know, development, and then it's like, wait, am I?
You know, that's interesting that you say that, because I was talking to somebody and they were saying that a lot of girls decide to go the other way when they're going through puberty because they don't want to deal with these things. But I remember when I was in school, they gave us the heads up. You know, they told you, like, this is what your body's going to go through.
Did you watch that video?
Yeah. And it's so funny because even when my boys came home from school, they was like, because they gave them the picture of, like, the penis and everything.
Right.
I was like, so what did you learn at school today? I don't want to talk about it.
I remember
I don't want to
that.
talk about it. I'm like, come on, let me see the picture. I didn't see it already. Just let me see the picture, you know?
I know I was terrified about the period. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Why though?
Nah.
Because, you know, and this is the crazy thing, right? Because back in our time, we learned this in, like, was it you had gym, and then it would cut off gym, and it'd be sex education.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, right. And I remember thinking to myself, like, why? Like the whole class was uncomfortable, and it was just
They
uncomfortable.
talked about STDs. And
Yeah, it was
everything.
like, oh, and everybody, yeah. And then, you know, because we were young and dumb, we would, like, that was like the insult. Like, she probably has AIDS.
Oh, I do remember that.
Yeah. It was like, you know, you didn't call each other, like, dumb. You'd be like, that's why we have AIDS.
Clap.
Right,
She got the clap.
exactly.
You
Yeah.
walk to the classroom, they be in there clapping. Like, you know what, forget y'all. Yeah, I remember that. But to go back to the original part of the video, it's just like, or the topic, it's really important that we wake up and understand, like, what's happening in the world. Like, it's not good enough for you to be like, yeah, I support that. I'm with it.
Yeah.
But you're not really, if you're going to be with it, then you need to, as they love to say, educate yourself.
Yeah.
Educate yourself and really figure, am I really on board with this? If this is the direction that I want to go in, then okay, I respect that that's the direction that you want to go in. If you want to support LGBTQ and you're okay with them adding maps to it, minor attracted persons.
Never will I be okay with that.
No, but I'm just saying though, this is and it's so sad because I know people that are in same-sex relationships that just want to be left alone.
Yeah.
You know, they just want to be.
They
able
don't
to
need
live
the club.
life. They don't need the rainbows. They don't need any of that. Like, they're just regular people that particularly love one person, and that's it. You know what I mean? Like, I care for this person. This is my partner, and they're just regular. Like, even when they hear about the nonsense, like they're pissed off about it. Like, this is ridiculous. So you even have people that are in the community that are speaking out and saying, I never would have signed up for this. Like, this was never what I expected. I just wanted to be able to have rights and whatever the case may be. But now what's going off to the deep end.
Yeah.
And I think it's time for parents to wake up and realize that they're trying to creep this into the school. Like, I know that we have an election that's coming up. I'm not going to touch on it too much, but there are certain people that are running this November that are for this type of thing. They're okay with it. They think it's beautiful. They think it should be accepted just because they're a part of it, and they don't understand that it's bigger than yourself. Not only that, but you being an adult, you have every right to do what you'd like as an adult. But to push that on children is just wicked.
Not only that, I dare anyone who's watching this and see what other kids in other countries are actually learning compared to what kids in the United States are learning in school. I dare you to check it out.
Yeah, it's more emotional based.
Well, just here. Yeah. It's a here thing. It's not a world thing. Like, everybody else knows children are children, but here it's like, no, we have to involve them.
Yeah. I didn't bring the clip, but I can always add it in. Him actually giving the parental rights, passing the bill for parents to have the parental rights.
Parental Rights and Education.
Yeah, Parental Rights and Education Act.
Which, isn't that the one that they call Don't Say Gay?
Yeah, which shows the manipulation of these people that are in power. You know, he comes out with a bill saying, okay, listen, like, we want them not to educate kids from grades K to 3. Keep it out of the classroom. Let them be kids. And instead of being honest, Democrats being deceptive, I'm just going to say it. Democrats being deceptive, they came out and manipulated the speech. And they said, oh, it's the Don't Say Gay bill. So a lot of people heard of the Don't Say Gay bill, but it was never called the Don't Say Gay bill. He never mentioned gay in it at all, but they knew that touching that right there was going to touch their heart. Oh, emotion. I'm pushing that emotional button.
And everybody wants to be for the the demarginalized group. Everybody wants to be part of that. So it's in their hearts are in a good place.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's not Don't Say Gay. It's about giving parents their right. Yeah. Like, why shouldn't you be the one to talk to your kids about sex? Why should some stranger who never stayed up all night, changed diapers, who doesn't take care of your kid, who only sees them for a few hours, should be able to talk to your children about the most intimate, most uncomfortable conversation?
Not only that, but we're talking about, he didn't even say keep it out of schools altogether. He said take it out of the curriculum for grades kindergarten to 3rd grade.
Yeah.
Kindergarten to 3rd grade. What adult in their right mind has an issue with that? Like, who's really talking to a 6-year-old talking about, do you like boys?
That is weird too. Like, why would you talk to a 6-year-old about that?
No.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I remember my 6-year-old thought he was Spider-Man for a little bit. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, my kids thought they were Transformers. Like, they literally would jump from, like, the 2nd step, roll into a ball, and they would be in a ball talking about, you know what I mean? Like, they're kids. So for you to approach them with this, they don't understand it. They can't comprehend it, which would only lead me to believe that you're training them
to be
think
okay
a certain way.
Yeah, you know, and me as a victim in reference to that type of situation, I had adults tell me, you know, it's okay, everything's fine, you know, it's not a big deal. But never in the moment that was all that was occurring to me that I think, well, you know, it's happened a few times. This is really fun. I was just like, why? Why can't I just go out and play? Like, why do we have to do this right now? So I think it's the same way children feel when you're talking to them about, it's weird. Like, what is that all about?
What's funny is that since they're okay with talking to kids that are kindergarten through 3rd grade, they think that because the adult is talking to the child about that, they think that they're sexual. Oh no, they're sexual. Like, you know, all kids are sexual. Like,
no, kids are very impressionable, and you are actually supposed to help them. And by putting them in situations or opening that whole can of worms, you're putting them in danger. And that's something that you guys really need to think about. It's not about being inclusive. It's about putting children in danger. You could say that you just want to educate them, but there's people who don't want to educate them, who want to take advantage of them, who want to do things that are bad to them. And when you're educating them, they're thinking these people are good just like you are. But realistically speaking, I can't really protect people who want to talk to kids like that. Like, it just, no. Yeah.
No. Did you want to lead into the scripture of the day that we have?
We never talked about which scripture we were.
I'm going to read it to you, and then you can give me your raw thoughts on it.
I'm going to give you the raw, the real.
Yes. Okay. So it's going to be coming out of Proverbs 6, verse 10 and 11. A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest, and poverty will come on you like a thief, and scarcity like an armed man. And that's what I see right now. You have a lot of people that are just comfortable, and they've folded their hands. You know, I'm just going to take a nap, we're chill. And then before they know it, when they're woken up out of their slumber, it's going to be like a whole Samson and Delilah type issue. Like the Philistines are upon you, and it's like, what are you going to do?
Right.
You know, you have no strength, no power, because all of your rights have been stripped. You can't speak out because then it's considered hate speech. Then we could throw you into jail. Then, you know, we can fire you and take away your means to be able to provide for your family. You're afraid to make any moves at that point. So what are you going to say? How are you going to protect your family with absolutely no rights? So it's like, you have to wake up now. You can't keep putting it off and saying, well, I don't care because it ain't got nothing to do with me.
And I think it's comfortable to not get involved. It's very comfortable to not get involved. It's actually, this is stressful. You know, saying things out that people aren't saying is more stressful. You know, saying what they want you to say, you make more money. You're not going to have things, you know, taken away. And, you know, these things that we have here in this world, you cannot take it to the next world. You know, and they dangle money and all these possessions to us so we could be like, well, you know, that's why I'm doing it. I gotta get the thing, or I gotta wear the mask, or else I can't make money. But when you know that Jesus Christ got you, you know, like the flowers and say the flowers, they get everything they need. We're gonna have everything we need, especially when you're standing up for what is right. So I mean, that's my 2 cents in reference to that, like how I feel about it.
Well, with that, I will say that I heard a young man say something I thought it was very smart and very true. He said, if they feed you, they can starve you. So anytime you keep your mouth shut thinking that you're keeping your head down and your nose clean, it's going to come to a point where you're falling in line, but you've fallen in line to the point of slavery all over again.
You know, the goal is to break down the image of tradition,
showing the beauty of walking in wisdom,
keeping it raw and 100.
With Christ at the center, you're either going to hate it or love it.
You know what I'm saying?
That concludes our show. Thank you for joining us, and we hope that you will return for round 2.